All right, friends, welcome back to day 3. We are going to talk about what your human design is. But first of all, again, I'd love to know how you went with your letter to your past self. What came up for you? What was really interesting for you? You know, what parts were you surprised? What parts felt really hard? What parts felt really liberating? What parts felt soft? What parts felt light, heavy? It's a really interesting task to do this, and something that I do quite often. I probably should do it more because I do see how valuable it is. It often just allows me to break free of so much of belief, like these belief systems that have been ingrained. It really helps me to, what we call in human design, decondition from our old belief systems and who we thought we were and all the rest of it. So today what I want to show you is the human design types. And again, I'm not going to go into a huge amount of depth in terms of the types. I will do that in a completely different, in a different course, whatever you want to call this. I'm going to do that in a different space because there is just so much information to bring when it comes to human design. So what I want to do is I just want to keep it simple for you guys today, right? So I want to keep it simple. You know, human design. Oh, whoopsie daisy. Let me go back. Sorry, I've got a touch screen as well. So I hope you guys can see that. Okay. So human design literally is just a lens to look through. We're going to keep it simple today. It's a lens to look through to see your brilliance. And when it comes to any relationship, once you see your brilliance, it's really easy for someone else to be attracted to that brilliance, right? So we're going to use it as a lens to see your own brilliance. We're going to use it to see where you might experience stuckness as a pattern, right? We're going to get enlightened, and then we're going to like kind of look at it and figure out, we'll decide how to navigate through self-exploration for a more true representation of who you are and what you are here to do in the world. So just in terms of human design, really all it does is, like, if you have this yearning for spirituality and you do believe in a higher power and you believe in the universe, human design is a blend of astrology and oh God, the words totally dropped out of my mind. I'll keep talking and it'll come back to me. Basically, it confirms what you already know, and it's already what you sense or what you've felt about yourself. It gives you permission to really have confidence and step fully into your truth. And it may even confirm the themes that you may have noticed playing out in your life and relationships. This is just really there to give you a deeper understanding about why you are, why you are the way you are and the way you feel. And it really, I think from this viewpoint, it really helps you to take a step back and not to take things so personally, because really everything is energy. People are energy, planets are energy. And so this really helps us to deepen our own compassion for ourselves, our own patience, and ultimately, like, to think about ourselves differently, to see ourselves differently, and to love ourselves more. That really is what it is. So let's look at what your human design type is. If you've downloaded your human design chart, I don't even have mine right here, but see that body graph down the middle? It'll look something like that. On the left side and on the right side, there'll be some numbers, and then there should be a little box which will tell you what your human design type is. And again, this is where it's a self-focus first and foremost. You will want to very quickly go and get your partner's chart and compare charts with your partner. But I'm going to break it to you. There are no perfect human design types that belong together. There are no perfect, there are no perfect matchups. Really, what we're here to find is how we operate, and potentially figure out how we operate and how how we can use this information to better operate with other people, even when they're not the same as us. Because don't forget, we're not here to be the same. We're all here to be different. And so human design isn't going to give you a magic pill to show you that, you know, if I'm a projector, I need to go be with a projector. It's just not going to work that way. But what we can do is we can use it very first to start this process of rewriting our story, is to help us see our brilliance. All right. So the types are the manifester. You are here to be a creator. You are here to be an initiator. You have a really powerful, non-verbal, creative flow. The bottom part needs to inform, just kind of ignore that for now. All right. So I want you to think about, you know, are you a hunter and a gatherer? Do you find yourself creating, like you're always coming up with new ideas, new ways to fix things, new ways to do things? Are you the one that generally always wants to go first? Are you the initiator? And do you feel that power within you where you have this massive creative flow? Like that is your superpower. That is one of your superpowers. The fact that you can do all that, because as we'll go through, you'll notice some of the other types don't have that ability. So you have this ability to be a manifester, a creator, and an initiator with a highly, highly creative and powerful flow in your relationship. Another type, a generator. You are the builder of the world. You build things, you create things, you respond. Some of us don't have the power to respond as quickly as generators do. You are here to work, and you might be quite sexually active. Like, no one's going to say that's a bad thing when it comes to relationships, right? You like to dance with the universe. Oh, I think that's pretty special. Really special. You like to dance with the universe. Now just look at your life in terms of your relationships. Have you, like, where do you notice you are a builder? Yes, I love to build things from scratch. So if you know, if you own your own business, where have I built a company from scratch? You know, my husband's a bricklayer. He's a builder. He builds houses for people. He helps people be in homes for the rest of their life. Like, it's an amazing thing. He's here to work. He's designed to work. Dancing with the universe. Like, I think that sounds really playful. That sounds really magical. That's the brilliance you can bring to any relationship. Like, you know, you're here to build. You're here to build stuff. You're here to work. You're here to be a sexual being. You're here to dance with the universe. I think that's a really special type. Then we have a blend of a manifesting generator. Again, so it's the first two, manifesting and a generator. You are here to be a builder too. You are here to be a multitasker. Some of us think we're great multitaskers, but we're not. You're a speedy creator, so you like creating things quite quickly. You too, dance with the universe. I think these are magical qualities to have in a relationship when you know that this is my superpower, because when we come up to the next couple, we're not really built. We're not designed to build as such. So when you know that you have a special superpower in your relationship, you can use this information to know that this is the value that I can bring. This is the value that I naturally bring to my relationship. So then there's a reflector. You are the master of being. Like, ooh, that sounds interesting. Where does that come? Where does that fuel you? Can you feel that? When I tell you you're a master of being, where do you see that for yourself? Where do you feel that? Like, honestly feel that. And I love the karmic mirror. So sometimes what you see is what bounces back to you. You can see stuff that other people can't. Like, it's pretty impressive. So when you know this in your relationship, I'm a master of being. I have this karmic mirror that I can just magically see things all the time. Ignore the bottom part because we can talk about that later. It's a really special thing. And each of these types brings a different flavor to a relationship. And then you've got projectors, and I am a projector, which means I was designed to manage, not build. Valuable assets. Ooh, I'll take that. Wise observers and guides. And I definitely know, knowing this information, it's like I've always had this inner knowing, this sense that I was here to be different. I was here to do something different. And for many years, I've really been trying to figure out what the fuck that is. Now I know, like, it's this having this information really gives me permission. Like, shit, I was designed to be a leader. I was designed to be a manager, and I'm a really valuable asset. I'm also a really wise observer. I see shit that other people don't, and I'm here to guide people, guide, mentor, coach. So knowing that in my relationship, it's like it allows me to be the leader in our relationship. It allows me to see myself as an asset and to be an observer and to really step into that superpower. Like, this is just, again, you're right, that beginning piece of relationship, curiosity. Like, there is so much more you can learn about your type, but I just want you to see those three things that I said that was special about you. These are your superpowers, right? This is the value that you bring to your relationship. Do you see your brilliance? I want you to see it for yourself. This is you every waking day. Like, how cool is that? You get to be this person every single day. You have this power just resonating in you. It's this energy that you exude, like, just pulses out of you. And it's all yours. So what we want to do is we're going to use this information to explore your relationship. Now, I want you to answer these questions for yourself first and foremost, right? Me first, them second. And then if you have a partner and you know their type, or you can download their type, right? You can answer these together and take turns in communicating what you've learnt, right? We're going to get curious, and we're going to be enlightened, and then we're going to figure out what the commitment part piece is soon. So I want you to answer these three things. How has your type played a role in how you communicate, what your intimacy is, and what your connection is with each other? And I know there are only three basic things that I've kind of shown you, but just knowing those three things, has there been a role there? Has that type kind of played a role? Like, what you've noticed, get curious. Yeah. How has being a manager, how has being a builder played a role in my communication style, in my intimacy, in my connection with someone else? What is the one thing that I will change this week that will help me see me for who I really am? You have to see your own brilliance first before someone else, right? And then what is the one thing that I'd like to do for me that would make me feel more honored and more valued for who I really am? So I know it's very, very easy to go and do this for someone else. But we always should start right here. Something that's just not on here is I want you to consider for a second, if we had a scale of 0 to 10, and it's the love scale, L-O-V-E, love. I want you to consider, on a scale of 0 to 10, where would you rate the love that you have for yourself? The love that you have for yourself. How much do you love yourself? And then you could do this for your partner. How much do you love them? And I'm going to take a swing at this. I'm going to take a punt that most people would be rating the love that they have for their partner far more than the love that we have for ourselves. And so that is the actual piece to fix right there. But we always tend to go to, we want to fix our partner. But really, the relationship with us is where we need to do the growing, is where we need to do the improving. It's where we need to kind of, like when we did that iceberg theory, the skills underneath that, like this is a skill, learning about yourself, learning about how your communication is affected by your past, around your conditioning. Like this is the work to do, is to increase our love muscles for ourselves, so that whenever we don't feel valued by someone else, we always know how to get our value back for ourselves. We always know how to see our brilliance. We always know how to stomp that shit out when we're talking badly to ourselves. Because if we talk badly to ourselves, it like gives permission for someone else to do it right back. We don't want that. We're not giving them permission at all. So we have to give ourselves permission to learn how to love ourselves a shit ton more than they ever could. Okay. All right. So once you've done that, and have a bit of fun with it. If your partner doesn't want to do this exercise, please don't make them. No one has to do anything. All right. Do this information to explore the relationship that you have with yourself. If they are open for it, have a bit of fun with it. Have a bit of fun with it. Okay. Now, the next part of this exercise, so you might want to push pause while you go and do that, because this is where we get to the part where we actually rewrite our relationship story. Okay. So this is what I call Future Self Project, and it's the story of the relationship you want to be living. And this is where we're going to have to do some journaling, and we could even, if you wanted to, you could talk about this to someone else. But I really want you to do this exercise again for yourself first, always for yourself first, and then what we can do is we can then bring that story together with our partner and look at those stories side by side, and then decide how we want to bring that story together. Where are the parts where they align? Where are the parts where they don't? And we want to decide what our commitment is in terms of what our relationship story is going to be for the future. But first of all, we're going to start off with the story of the relationship you want to be living. What do you want? So what does it look like? Who will you want it with? Who is that person? What do they look like? What are their hopes and dreams? Who are the two of you in partnership? So you don't have to be married. You don't have to be necessarily dating. You could just be friends with benefits. You could just, literally be two friends, just in partnership with each other. You could even look at this in terms of businesses, like if you've got business relationships, outside of friendships, when you bring those together, sometimes, people say that it's not a good idea to blend business with friendship. Yeah, it might be true, but it might also be not true. So just decide for yourself, who are the two of you in partnership? What does that look like? How do you unify? I think this is the most incredible statement ever. How do you unify and bring each other together in the most elevated, conscious, expanded, and authentic way? And you could even break that one sentence, that one question, into the 4 different parts. How do you unify and bring each other together in the most elevated way? How do you unify and bring each other together in the most conscious way? How do you unify and bring each other in the most expanded way? How do you unify and bring each other in the most authentic way? I think that is a really, I want to say really sexy thing to do. Then more questions that you could ask are, like the story. Okay, you get to write this a bit like, Dear Laurie, here's the story of what you want your relationship to be looking like, how you want to be living in a relationship. What does communication look like? Like, if I get to choose what style it's going to be, let's choose it. What does sex look like? What agreements do we have in place? Like, what are we talking about? Who's running the household? What about the kids? What about money? Like, all the things, right? How do you tell the story of the relationship that you want to be living? You know, are you telling the story from lack, or are you telling the story from abundance? That is actually important, because even think about law of attraction or manifest, you know, the laws of manifestation. When we see things in lacking, we're gonna kind of be grasping and needy in terms of what we want, versus if we come from this really abundant place, creating from abundance, we're going to have a totally different take on that story. If you're doing this together, what is your guiding star? What brings you together? Like, no matter what, no matter how hard things get, you know, what does that look like? How do you guys talk? Like, how do you guys share that information together? How do you guys put some kind of agreements in place, some boundaries, some, you know, how do you make that decision when all things get really tough? Like, you know, we're always going to sleep in the same bed no matter what, even when we're angry, even when we're sad, even when we're XYZ, like, or whatever that agreement is for you. What are your values? Like, what are your, like, you have your own separate values. Sure, you have your own separate values in a relationship, but what are the common, what's the golden weave of your values that you bring together? What are the same ones you have? Like, that might actually help you towards your guiding star, right? And then I think this is a really curious, playful way. What are my hopes? What are my dreams? I wonder what theirs are. I wonder what their hopes and dreams are. And to get really curious around that so that we can become enlightened. And then guess what? We can do this together. We can have this partnership. We can create a relationship. And then we know, like, well, right now, it doesn't look like that. How do I get from where I am now in my relationship to there? All right. So then there's some questions to kind of get the juices flowing. The actual exercise is to write yourself. So we did a letter from to my past self. Now I'm going to write a letter from my future self. This is the story that you want. What story do you want? My future self, she's right where I want to be. And she has some advice to give me. So what's she going to tell you to stop doing? What's she going to tell you to start doing? And what else might she say? What does she really want to tell you? Like, she's just biting at the bit to tell you something. She's going to tell you something right now. This is the place where she's going to tell it from. She is already here. She already exists. She is within you. Just got to give her some space to come out and share this information with you. Okay. And so where I want to finish up today is really, you know, like, the relationship with you is always going to be the most important. Human design component today was really just to show you what brilliance you automatically bring to a relationship. It's just a kind of taste around human design. You don't necessarily have to get it. I just, believe me when I say that these types are super powerful in relationships, no matter what relationship you're in. Okay. And of course, I would love for you to have a new take on your relationship and see it as a cycle versus a linear approach. So always be going round in that curiosity stage. You know, when we're curious, we can often find a new energy and create a new attraction for ourselves. When we take that in curiosity, we ask lots of questions, lots of good questions. We poke into the areas of our mind where we haven't, like, poked before, and we're willing and we're taking those courageous steps to actually go and do that stuff. That's when we become more enlightened, because we see our limiting beliefs, we see our patterns, and we see some themes that are going on. And then that last piece is, this is where we get to commit. Like, what is the commitment I'm giving to myself to change the relationship that I want? How am I going to move into this place of real love, love without condition, right? Unconditional love. How am I going to be more accepting of myself so I can be more accepting of someone else? How am I going to see my own value, my own brilliance before I see it in someone else? How much more do I have to love myself? I don't have to love them more. I have to love myself more. This is the relationship with you, my friends. And of course, we just go back to the beginning again every time. There's no linear involved. And then when you ask yourself, like, how do I make this commitment? How do I do the curiosity piece? How do I get enlightened? It's really just following your instinct and your gut, and just take the best next, it's supposed to be, okay, the best next step to start being that person. To start seeing your value, to start seeing the love that's within you, to really see all of that. And just to take one simple step. Like, even if you just did these exercises, you've already like expanded your mindset. By just doing this work, you've actually already taken the best next step. But what is the next one for you? All right, my friends, it's been an amazing few days. I hope you have got so much value out of this. It is a really expansive exercise to do. And of course, you know, any growth that we get where we expand our mind, we expand our hearts, when we can truly see our own value, like any work that we do like that is super valuable, because it instantly changes the relationship that you have with yourself. All right, my friends, thank you for joining, and we'll see you again soon. Go and live that rewritten story of your relationship. I'd love to know how you've gone with it. Please drop me any ahas or any magical things that have happened to you in my emails. Visit lauriecherie.com. Drop into there. You can drop into my DMs on at Laurie Cherie on Insta or Facey. And yeah, we'll see you again soon.